How would you feel if you worked hard your whole life to leave an inheritance for your loved ones, and that inheritance was lost? Well, you can use the trust laws that are available to everybody in this country to protect your wealth for your bloodline. We make a will, and that makes our wishes clear. However, there are certain things that can happen that prevent our wishes from being met. When one of us dies, our estate needs to go through the probate process. That process is lengthy, can take on average between 6 to 12 months, and it can be very expensive. Professional fees can run into the thousands, some 2 to 4% of the value of the estate. In order to prevent this cost and to prevent this time frame, you can set up a trust with wills and legal services known as the Family Protection Trust. Quite simply, a trust is a legal document which creates an imaginary box, and that box belongs to you. When you set up a trust, those assets within the trust will pass to your beneficiaries without the need for probate, saving them a huge amount of time and a huge amount of money at a very difficult time. Another benefit of setting up a trust is that beneficiaries can choose a time that's right for them to take their money from the trust. Why is this important? Sometimes it's not a good idea for beneficiaries to inherit money. For instance, if any of your loved ones are going through a divorce, that money they inherit could go to their ex-partner in a divorce settlement. If they're going through a financially difficult time such as a bankruptcy, any money you leave them can go through to their creditors. When you leave them the inheritance in trust, they choose the time that's right for them to take their money, so they can get their divorce finalised, they can sort out their financial difficulties, and retain 100% of what you've worked hard for. Remarriage after death is becoming more and more common. When one of us dies and our partner remarries, assets can become matrimonial assets in that new marriage. And if our partner subsequently dies, those assets can pass to the new spouse and down their bloodline, thus disinheriting the original children. A family protection trust prevents that from happening. The assets will stay in the bloodline. Some people have decided to disinherit their children. They've written them out of the will. However, the law states those children can make a claim against their parents' will. And that's not fair. The wishes in the will should be met. By placing those assets in trust, those assets are protected. After 6 years, the children cannot make a claim against their parents' estate. 1 in 10 of us can expect a care bill of over £100,000. Last year, 40,000 homes were sold to fund care fees. If you go into care, the local authority will means test you. In England, if you're worth over £23,250, or in Wales, if you're worth over £50,000, you'll be expected to pay 100% of your care fees. The average cost of care today in the UK is £750 to £1,000 a week. It doesn't take long for the inheritance to be eaten up in care fees. If you set up a trust, whilst care is not foreseeable, and for the reasons we've discussed, such as probate and children inheriting at a time that's right for them, we have found the local authority have disregarded assets during their care fees means assessment. So whilst care cannot be the reason for setting up a trust, it happens to be a benefit if it's set up at the right time and for the right reasons. Your will is what you want to happen. By having a trust in place, you make sure that it does happen. We've been paying insurance policies our whole life to protect the things that are important to us. It would be a real shame to get to later life and to lose those things. So act now to protect your family's future.